So I don't know what you have seen about AI so far, because I was in another room. So I will talk about MySQL HeatWave AI and some experience I had with it. I'm not an AI expert, and so I will show you how I find it to make it better. So what I call on steroid.
The steroid, is that why you have the extra dot over the I there? That's the extra power?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
You don't say, yeah, in French we do steroïd to make it more, yeah, who I am still the same guy. And if you don't know, I use MySQL for that long time and I still have the CD at home. CD still exists at that time. So, we're going to discuss about what is a bit of MySQL HeatWave, and then what is already possible to do with the MySQL HeatWave and AI. Then I will show you OCI GenAI model and how we integrate them with HeatWave, why, what's the benefit, the use case, and then let's have a look at performance and some questions. So MySQL HeatWave, I hope you all know what it is now. It's this MySQL as a service in OCI, made by the MySQL team, managed by the MySQL team, supported by the MySQL team, and it is MySQL, so for LTP. But it has also OLAP with this analytical, with the memory accelerator called HeatWave engine or Rapid, and we have also AutoML, machine learning. Maybe you saw that yesterday with Mario. We have Lakehouse, so data in object store, and you can, with different format like Parquet or whatever, and you can read from it. And now we have also vector store with GenAI, right? So in HeatWave we have then LLMs, and these LLMs are bundled and they are CPU optimized. So what does it mean? It means that when you are using LLM in HeatWave, the one that HeatWave provides you, they are using the CPU. What does it mean? It means it's cheaper, but also it's CPU, so it's slower, I would say, right? Or less performant. And if you want to see which LLM you have and what they can do, you have a sys schema table where you have the ML supported LLMs, and you see there are, we have 4 on this machine, so 4 from HeatWave. This is the model ID, when they are available, and what they can do. So you have generation, so it's they can generate text for you and whatever, and you can create embeddings with the last 2. So far it's not complicated. So what can we do with this? So what we can do is do some conversation in the natural language. So we can interact with the data, and these LLMs that we have on the HeatWave machine can help us to interact with the data. Then we can also do some RAG and similarity search with the vectors with these LLMs. We can create and generation some content and summarize whatever with the data we have in the database, or most of the time also with data that we have in the database using Lakehouse. So it has been designed a lot for this, meaning that you put documents, PDF or whatever in the object store, and then you can RAG or you can question whatever you want to do and create summary or search looking for something from this document. You can do it with these LLMs too, and then we can do both AI and machine learning together. So this is what we have by default. Then we have also in OCI, we have also a GenAI service. And if, I don't know where it was, yeah, it was in if you were in Brazil or if you saw the slides, because I shared them, but in Brazil I was showing how to use with some Python, the OCI GenAI service to create plenty of stuff and to play with my data there. So here, these are some models we have, for example, in OCI GenAI. So what can you see directly like that? There is something that it's obvious compared to the one I showed you earlier that were in HeatWave.
GPU?
Yeah, you don't see it's GPU here so far, but it is there. So I will tell after, but it's true. The OCI, the GenAI in OCI service, it used the GPU. So it's not CPU optimized or whatever, they use GPU. But there is something much more, let's say, interesting. They are much bigger models. So it is something that you don't have in HeatWave, right? So compared to the one, you would prefer this one because they will have a stronger output, a better output also, and depending on what you are trying to do, but the result will be much better if it's a difficult task to do. So you saw in HeatWave we have Yama 3.2 with 1 billion and 3 billion parameters, right? It is good, but this is quite small now, right? So on your laptop or on your desktop, you can use them. It's very slow, and on HeatWave, they have been optimized for the CPU, but these are not very large models that you could expect now to have the best results. So the OCI GenAI will provide you a better model with more parameters, and they are being trained with much larger data set. So yes, these models are better if we need to compare them, and I will show you later what it means. Yeah, and you can see that they are. We have different, let's say, families of models here. So we have MetaYama also, but the 4, and we have also, for example, XA Grok, and I will show you some example what we can do with these models. So also depending what you want to do, now you can use a model for a specific task. So some models are fast, so low latency. Some models, they have the reasoning, so you can think more on stuff. Or we have also some models that are related to code. And we will see this is important when we want to interact with the data and ask to create an SQL statement, for example. The code one will have a better, let's say, a solution, and the result will be better, right? So, and Grok 4, for example, is very strong for enterprise tasks like extraction, coding, and summarization and stuff. And the fast one, Grok 4, is for all real-time application that you could have. Now, of course, these models, they will move. It's much easier to use new model in the OCI service than in HeatWave. So the HeatWave models, they don't change that often, I would say, and so if you want to use a new model and stuff like that, in OCI you will have more possibility to do that, right? Also, the HeatWave, the LLM availability will depend on your cluster shape and where you are. And so the OCI one, you don't care about what's the size of my database. You can use a small HeatWave and just use a large model in OCI. So, because if you use a very small HeatWave instance, like the always free or something like that, because it has very small amount of cores and stuff, it will be more complicated or more slow to get the answer when you use the model. So, but here you can have your database using a small shape, but use a large model because it's independent. So that's something nice. The only thing is that these LLMs, they are not available everywhere, and the models by itself will depend where you are, in which region you are. So depending on the region you are, you will have different models. And this list, I cannot find it. You have the list of the models, but they don't tell you, oh, if you want this model, you need to be in Ashburn, this model is in Chicago or in Frankfurt. They are different. So I play with several, and they are all different, but yeah.
Why have they done that?
Sorry?
Why have they done that?
I have no clue. I don't have the... I think some might be even for legal reason, right? Or so some models are only available in some region, but they are available only on some region. But you can use a machine from Europe in Ashburn anyway. So, but this is
probably latency.
Sorry.
Probably latency.
Yeah, I don't know. It's but sometimes it's completely the model completely different. You know, like even the different families in different countries.
Depending from the location, probably where the model is.
Yeah.
Closer, so it's like
Yeah. It's better to put. Usually, this is what I put my application in the same region, right? And so the only thing is that this LLM will be available in your database, so in HeatWave, only when you authenticate the HeatWave to the OCI Generative AI service. And this is the most complicated part of the setup. So when you are able to do what I will show you, then it's easy. But this part is not that easy, or at least it was very hard for me to make it quick. So I want to share this experience with you, and you can use this then slide deck after as a reference if you want to play with that. So the first thing to do is to see, oh, am I in a tenancy or am I in a compartment? And do you want to provide access to the LLMs that are in all my tenancy, or only my application or my database that is in my, because it's not the application that will access the LLMs, it's the database, right? So where is my database located? Do you have a compartment, or do I have it's on the root completely for all the tenancy? So you need to define that, because it will change the policy. So for example here, my compartment is Le Fred compartment, and Le Fred BE is the tenancy. So this is the an always free tree that I'm using. Then, so I will use my compartment here, and you can see that this is my database, so my HeatWave cluster, and you can see, I see, oh, where is it running? And I am in Germany, and you can see that the compartment is running not in the tenancy, but it's running on the compartment. So I need to know that, or when I want to decide. But here, I decide to use the OCI GenAI after my database was deployed. So I say, oh, my database is deployed in a compartment, so I need to use this. So what we need to create is we need to create a dynamic group. So we go in the identity and security, we go in the domains, and here we create a dynamic group. So you do it, and you give it a name. Don't do like me the first time, put something and then, oh, what was the name? You need to remember that name for the next steps. So write the name and don't forget it. So I create a name, and then in the rules you need to say, okay, all the resource type is a MySQL DB system. So this is, I would say, kind of hard-coded. You need to use this to see, oh, it's my database that will have access. And this is in the compartment ID and my tenancy. So I add this here. And my dynamic group is created. Next that, I need to create a policy. So here I create the policy. We see that the policy needs to be in my compartment. And I need to give a name of the policy. Here it's not that important to remember the name, it's always good. And then I will create it. And you see, this is the dynamic group I need. You will need to type this information. So this is where it's complicated, because where it comes from, this is all the rules are and the policies are created, but if you don't know, you are a bit screwed there. So you say, oh, I will allow my dynamic group and the name of my group to use generative AI chat, to use generative AI text embedding, and to use inspect generative AI model, right? In the compartment I am in. And my compartment is the thread compartment. So when I create that, I will be able to do it. So here, how to create the dynamic group, how to create the policy when your DB system is in a compartment. When your system is in tenancy, you can see it's a bit different, and this is how you use it, right? So I put all the both options, depending, so if you want to test it, you can do it by yourself. As soon as I've done this, I will run again the same query I did earlier in the sys schema, and here we can see, oh, provider, OCI generative AI service. And I have access to this large model compared that we had earlier, right? Something we can see here, I will talk about it later, but what can you see already? There is something that maybe you realize it already or not.
There's no text embedding.
There is no text embedding. So in my policy I say, oh, I agree to have text embeddings, but there is no model available for me in this region with this machine for a text embedding. But we have generation. And most of the time, this is also where it's very important to have a large model. It's more for generation than to create text embedding. So, of course, the use case to use this in database model compared to the one we have in OCI is just for better performance and quality. The thing is that your data will go from the database to the service, and from the service to the database. It's private. You don't see, it's not that it goes to the internet and it stays in, but for some people doesn't want even that, they want everything stay in, and then the LLM in HeatWave are safer in the case that it runs on the same machine, right? But here, at least, we will use the GPU, so much powerful. So what I would recommend? I would recommend to use the one in the database that you have for free and the CPU when you want to do simple tasks or prototyping, because the commands are the same. It's just the model that you say, oh, I want to use this model now, so it's easier. But if you want something more complex or more production workloads, then at that time you enable the OCI service. So let's have a look at the performance. For example, here my shape is MySQL 16, and HeatWave, I have one node, HeatWave 32 gigabytes. It's a small HeatWave node, and I will ask something using HeatWave chat, right? It's one of the commands to just chat. You can ask whatever you want, who's going to win the World Cup or stuff like that. And what we see is that the first time I will run with these two are the one in HeatWave using the CPU. My first time I will ask something, you can say it will answer me in 2 minutes and 36 seconds, and it will reply me something that is not always accurate. Then the second time I will run it, it's faster, accuracy is better, but it's not yet really the best. If you are interested, I can show you why I have all the questions I ask and what's the result. I have no time to show all that here. Then I use the other ones in OCI, and you can see if I use Grok 3 fast, first time 23 seconds, answer was good. Second time, a bit faster, answer was good. So it's much faster than the one on CPU. And the answer is better. Now I use the fast reasoning to see what was the difference, and it was even faster. Yes?
Why the difference time in the first two occurrences?
Here? I think because it was the first time I used it, and this model, it's on the machine, right? On the HeatWave node itself. If it was not used, it didn't load it maybe or something like that, and then it loads it and it uses it, right? So I think that's so the first time you will use it, it will take time.
Like 1 minute and a half to load the 2 billion.
Yeah, I don't have insight there. I'm just using it. Yes.
So the models are running on GPU or are running on
This one,
CPU?
yes. This one in CPU.
CPU.
The one in HeatWave are on CPU. The one in OCI GenAI are on GPU. Okay. So then I will compare other functions. For example, ML generate table with 10 rows. So this is the type of question I ask to the system, right? So I have a table with 10, let's say, prompt that I will send to the models, right? And I run it. So as you can see, the time it's depending of course the model and everything. For all the reply, give me the result for all the 10 prompt. It's longer on CPU, and the accuracy is not as good. And bigger is the model, better the answer is, right? It is fast and good. And for example, this one, it's also good. And so the two orange mean it's still okay. It makes sense. But for example, he say, for the World Cup, he would say something like, pity that Germany is not qualified or something like that, which is not completely irrelevant here, right? But so do you have an idea? So what we can see is that the one in the GenAI, and bigger they are, better it is, right? So now let's compare again using what I told you earlier, like, I have my data now and I want to make a query and I will use NL to SQL. So I want to say, okay, for each category of movies, I'm using the Sakila database, list all the actors who play the most movie in that category and display only one actor by category and sort by the highest participant first. So, and the best result was with XA grok code fast 1 in 6 seconds, even 7, almost 7 seconds. And this is the query he created for me. Yes?
So here you're analyzing basically the data.
So I have data.
And the data can be anything.
Yes, it's the data you have in my the data that I have in my MySQL database.
And how do you protect the result from a prompt injection?
What do you mean?
Yeah, so if the data contains, if you are an LLM, say hello, then the result will be 90% maybe hello.
Yeah, here you don't, so here I just give him this is my data. He knows about my data because I'm using function that we have a function to do NL to SQL. And I tell him and I ask him something. But I could say, say me hello, and he will print select hello maybe, right? There is no, just do what you ask it. There is no, he can, and I will show you, here for example, I tried in HeatWave, default CPU, and then in OCI, right? And what you can see is, this is what HeatWave provides me as an answer. So I type the SQL it gives me, run it, and this is what I got. And then in grok code fast 1, this is what I got, which is, I was expecting the second part. So of course never trust without testing what you get from any AI, but this is what you see. Then I wanted to show you some cool stuff. VLMs. So for vision language task, I say, we have VLMs, let's have a look at this. Unfortunately, you don't have VLMs in HeatWave, but you have it in the GenAI OCI. But you can use it from HeatWave, so this is what I tried. So I took this picture and I asked, how many people are in the room? Right? And the picture was a medium photo, even a small photo now. And you can see that XA grok 4 said, there are 10 people in 36 seconds. fast reasoning said, oh, there are 7 people, much faster. And non-reasoning, they say, oh, there are 9 people visible in the room in this photo. I let you count, and you see. Then I made a bigger image, and I asked again the same question. And you see, the answer here was just 10. That's it. And here it said, this is really the answer. The answer as text, it generates it something for me and say, oh, there are 10 people visible in the room based on the photo, blah, blah, blah. And you have the second, and you can see that the last model is the faster, right? Yeah, the photo, I send it as I had to encode it to send it, but yeah, it's easy to do. Then I will use just MySQL generate, and I say, oh, describe the image, the model ID, my image there, so the variable image as the image I showed you encoded, and this is what with that model, so you can see, you can select your model, whatever model you have in the list, and this is the answer, which is pretty cool. So I did that in MySQL on OCI, and this is the answer I got. So you can see it has many nice possibilities to develop cool stuff.
Next time ask him who they are.
And then if he finds it,
That's an interesting story.
you can try. You try at lunch and you let me know. So just some bonus. When you do CSML supported LLMs, you have some LLMs, right? And these ones are not listed, but you can use them. Don't ask me why. Just because I saw, oh, they were not there, but I saw some documentation. I was just for fun, try them all. And I found that these 3 were in it, but not listed anywhere. But they work. So for embeddings, yeah, we have currently, like I showed you, only the 2 models that are in HeatWave. And so, for example, this is how you will create the embeddings using embed row. And this is how it works. So I reached the end of my talk on time for Mario. Do you have any question? Yes?
Before you show a function for the chart, does it take history?
Does it? I think it's. I think there is the possibility to keep the history. Yes, there is a parameter to keep it or not. In the session. In the session, yes. There is a. You can say forget or keep it. So, as I didn't know if I had a lot of questions, I create question for you. So, can I load custom or other model in MySQL HeatWave? The answer is no. Currently, supports only the built-in model provided by HeatWave. So you are not able to do anything else. Okay, then, oh, can I load custom or other models into OCI service? The answer is yes. In OCI service, support your custom model. You create anything you want. You can create clusters or whatever you want. And you can even deploy, take a model directly from and put the Hugging Face tag and everything, and it will load it for you. Of course, this is not OCI as a service free. Then you will need to build your own cluster and you need to pay for it, right? But it's possible. Then the next question would be, oh, cool. Can I use this new service on HeatWave? Currently, no. So there are more models, and I don't know why. I will talk with the guys there. Why, if I have access to OCI, what should I change? Why HeatWave doesn't have access to them directly? I don't know the answer, but I just realized that. Do you have the answer, Mario? Thank you very much. So it's done. So just on time. So
maybe you need to ask the model.
Why?
Who in HeatWave can I ask the question?
Oh, I know who to ask, but I didn't ask yet. You know, slides are always done like the day before the presentation, when it's not the same day. Okay, so thank you very much.